Welcome to an ER Q&A, and I am excited for today's episode. So today, before we get further, today's question is coming from Alan. Got my Q&A questions right here on the inbox on Facebook, and Alan is all the way from Kenya, and I'm excited for that. Also Kenya right here, represent. So basically, his question, to be very specific, what he asked on Facebook was, help me script or help me with some advice on how I can become successful in a developing country. So that's very key right there, developing country, through a way of adding value to myself so that I can deliver something that I can be paid for. So this is a very good question right here. It's kind of a multi-part question. So I'm gonna simplify it a little bit. How to develop skills you can get paid for in developing countries. I think that summarizes it pretty good, right? I hope, Alan, you're pretty cool with me summarizing like that so we can be able to break it down so they can be able to help various people out there. So the way I look at it is this way. The first thing you need to do when it comes to finding a skill that you want to become good at is, first of all, find something you're passionate about, right? Something that gives you energy, something that gets you excited each and every day, because the journey of becoming good at something is usually not an easy path. It's something that takes a long time, something that takes a lot of time, it's something that takes a lot of energy. So you want to make sure you're very passionate about it. And a simple way to find something you're passionate about is just think about the things at the top of your head right now that draw you towards them, right? Instead of the other way where you have to fight towards them, instead find something that just draws you towards them, right? So if you're really good, a musician, you're good at producing music, and it's just natural to you, then you can get paid doing that. If you're good at agriculture, or you love animals, whatever it might be, right? Just draw yourself towards it and do it, right? Make sure it's an equal pull, right? The passion is pulling you towards it, and also you're pulling yourself towards it so you can meet in the center and mingle and make a scale out of it. So that's the first part, passion. That's a very key part. Okay, so the next thing here, Alan, and anyone else is watching out there, right? This is for everyone out there. The key part here in the other question is developing country, right? So the first thing you have to do is find what you're passionate about. It doesn't matter if you're in Africa or in the United States. You have to find passion in what you're good at. And the next part is in developing country. So as you know, in the developing country, I made a video on African entrepreneurs' advantages, greatest disadvantages are actually the greatest advantages in the African market. So in this scenario here, every country is quite different on what opportunities are there, even if it's developing country in Tanzania, Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, and etc. So you have to make sure that you look at what's happening around you locally, and drawing from the idea of music. Like right now, I know we're working on a project that's, I'll release that project later, but it's a project that's very focused on the musicians in Africa. And one thing that we've been able to notice is that there's a lot of passion behind that. There's a lot of energy coming out of that. So if you position yourself in a way, you become a really well-known producer, and people start seeing that, wow, this person is very skilled at this. And you know, locally around your area, either in college or whatever, you know a couple of people who are trying to break it out in the music industry. They're trying to create music, trying to get known. You come out and be like, hey, I'm good at producing music. Is it cool if you pay me whatever amount of money to produce your music? Now, that's an example of based on if your current scene right now, you're seeing a lot of music in your developing country that's starting to pop up, and you want to be one of those people developing it. Now, the other thing you can be able to look at in the developing countries is technology, right? Technology is booming, and it's going to boom regardless of anything. You can't stop the technology growth. So if you position yourself in a way that you're able to be part of the movement in the technology with your passion, and by the way, technology is very, very wide open. You can be an internet marketer, right? You don't have to necessarily start a company. You can be an internet marketer. You can be a person who's able to analysis risk, or even be able to look at analytics on a website, Google Analytics, different tools. So you have to look at from the bigger picture, what is moving in your developing country? What is the market that's really blossoming? And then you have to position yourself to be in that market at the right time. And the advice that I give to people, especially someone who's looking to get paid right now, is think long term and also look at short term, right? In the short term, you really want to focus on developing your skills. You really want to focus on becoming good before you even try and look for a dollar to even get paid. Because here's the biggest thing. A lot of people make this mistake. They say, I want to be a programmer because I'm seeing people getting paid out there for programming. So in your mindset, you're just focused on seeing dollars instead of seeing progress. There's a huge difference between seeing money and progress. And the reason why I wanted to diverge into this section here is because if you're in the developing country and you're just focused on dollars instead of progress, you're going to miss out on some major opportunities. Because if you're just focused on dollars and you start programming today, you're not about to get paid by the end of the month. It's just not gonna happen, right? If you're a music producer or in agriculture, you just planted your seeds, you're not gonna just start raping and for whatever you saw on the ground right now. Like, it's not gonna happen. You have to have patience. You have to have that knowledge. Like, your mindset has to be based on progress instead of getting paid. And I know you're asking about how can you get paid for that skill you learned. First, you have to remember there's a reason why it takes a doctor over 10 years before they start getting paid, right? There's a reason why an engineer takes 4 years in college before they start getting paid. Now, I'm talking that in the sense of college, right? There's some people who are really good at programming. They can take a year, and if you put a lot of time into it, you put a lot of push and work into it, you can get paid pretty faster, right? So the reason why I want to take a section, just kind of take a piece out of what we're talking about and dive into focus on the progress instead of the dollars is because Alan, if you start on this, I'm not sure because you didn't specify what your passion was, but if you start going towards your passion and you're just focused on the dollars and the cash, you're gonna burn out because in business it takes a long time to see money back, and it's gonna take a lot of work and sweat before you even start getting the signs, the money signs, right? The Kenyan shillings, right? You're in Kenya. So yeah, that's something I wanted to put out there when it comes to getting paid for what you are passionate about. It's gonna take a while. Now, closing up to the next section here is you want to really surround yourself with people who are in a similar kind of space as you. So if you're doing music, you're a music producer, whatever it might be, make sure you surround yourself with other music producers. Make sure you surround yourself with people who are constantly learning, they're constantly challenging themselves, because the only way you're gonna get paid for what you do, you have to be better than everyone else. You have to be better than majority of the people, right? That's why people have resumes. They're like, okay, we've seen the same resume like from 100 people. What makes you different? And that's why you want to surround yourself with other people who are doing similar things, so you can be able to gauge and see, okay, so people are doing this. Like if you're a programmer and you don't have anyone else who's programming around your circle, chances are you're gonna be doing hello world and thinking you are a pro programmer until you meet someone else who knows about classes, who knows about reverse engineering programming, knows about how to clean the code, knows about how to debug the code. See, I do a little bit of programming, so I can throw a couple words out there. So, so you're gonna make sure that you are actually surrounding yourself with people who are doing programming, so that you can be able to pace yourself and know how good you are. The reason for that is because of this, right? You can be like, well, look here, I want to get paid to run, okay? And you're racing against people who don't even run, right? Barely do they even walk a lot. And then you're out there like, I want to get paid like Usain Bolt. You can't say you want to get paid like Usain Bolt if you don't even race with people who are even running, so, or even in the same sport. Is that even a better analogy right there? So make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people who are passionate about what you're doing. Make sure that they're gonna keep you challenged. And then, you know, the good thing about when you can network with other people who are doing similar things as you, they open up doors for you, right? You know, one of your friends gets a job as a programmer, and then he gives a shout out to his employer or whatever, like, hey, I know that dude, he can really program, he can really produce some music. Man, that person is good at agriculture. He got some good old avocados. They're like this big and the right price. You see what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's agriculture, it doesn't matter if it's music, programming, dancing, video recording, whatever it might be, whatever you might be passionate about. All those different things are very blanket to all those different things. So Alan, I hope I did answer your question here, because the question itself was, of course, how can I develop skills that I can get paid for in the developing countries, aka in Africa? Africa's a continent, but you know, you get what I'm saying, right? So anyway, this Q&A was a little bit long because I was very passionate about it, because I feel like this was a very good question for a lot of people out there who watch my videos, because I kind of get similar questions sometimes, but they're usually not as specific as this one. So I love this specific question, Alan. And yeah, so if I didn't answer your question to the fullest, always feel free to inbox me, Alan. We can reply back and keep talking, have this conversation, keep going. Anyone else who's watching, you can inbox me as well. You're welcome as well. So, and also you can send your questions as well, and I can, you know, do a pretty dope, you know, reply back like this one. I can take my time out of the day and make sure I give you value. That's what it's all about, right? So thanks for watching this ER Q&A, and hope to see you next week on another episode. I haven't uploaded a lot of ER Q&As. I know I'm supposed to, just been a little bit busy in the last month with business. That's the main hustle. So yeah, see you guys later, and make sure you find your passion. Then make sure that you're not focused on the dollar signs. Make sure you're focused on that progress, because without the progress, you can never really measure how good you are. Your employer can't tell how good you are, so they can pay you. and then also surround yourself with some people who are also hustling at the same level as you, or even better, they're way better than you, so you can be able to kind of like gauge how good you are and then be able to kind of catch up, right? If you're racing against, if you're Usain Bolt as your coach right now, chances are you're gonna be pretty fast, right? If you know your coach is Messi, chances are you're gonna be fast than your uncle who just watches Cristiano Ronaldo play on TV. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you're focused on that as well. Thanks for watching. Peace out. And I'm just gonna end it right here. Peace out. Last words at the end. Maybe I should have done it there.